don't need to see, just listen, and you can see the story of peace and blessings. Chapter 1. Meet Peace. Born February 16th, 2001, to mother Anika Levins and father Jermaine Asalam, Peace Asalam Levins was born. Peace mom and dad were high school sweethearts, and both hadn't been with anyone else. Peace were their first child, making it even more meaningful. Anika and Jermaine agreed to give him the name Peace because even in the midst of chaos, his essence made everything seem still. When Anika was 36 weeks, Peace was still breached, and the doctors were considering surgery. Anika was behind on sleep for days as she worried. Then 3 days before the surgery, the boy turned. It was like the boy had brought reassurance that everything was all right. The first year of Peace's existence was warm, delightful, and full of cheer. He was the first child, the first son, and the first grandson on both sides of the family. Peace's father had two younger sisters, Aunt Jackie and Aunt Lucille. On Peace's mom's side, there was a younger brother and a younger sister, Aunt Nefertiti and Uncle Mason. So Peace was the first for many. Peace's father, Jermaine, was born and raised in Rochester, New York. Growing up on the east side, on North Gutman Avenue, he was raised by his mom and never knew of or even heard of his father. His younger sister, Jackie and Lucille, had a different dad from Jermaine. Jackie and Lucille's father was around, but whenever their parents would get into an altercation or disagreement, he went missing for months. In and out of his presence and absence, he was still the closest thing to a father-like figure that Jermaine had knew. It wasn't so much that he was the best example or figure, but instead, he had the most often male presence. As you could probably imagine, Jermaine had quite a troublesome childhood. Though Jermaine's mom did the best she could to raise him, he was in and out of juvenile detentional centers. By the age of 23, before Peace was born, he had already had multiple felonies and been to prison twice. During his incarceration, he was fascinated by the teachings and religion of Islam. Jermaine had changed his last name from Evans to one of the 99 attributes of Allah. Jermaine chose the name Asalam, meaning the giver or bringer of peace. Jermaine and Anika had met one another at East High School around the time that Jermaine was in and out of juvie. The two of them met one day as Anika was rushing through the hallways for class when Anika dropped her homework. When Anika got to class and the teacher had asked for everyone's homework, Anika couldn't find hers. Immediately, she began mentally backtracking as she asked the teacher if she can go back to her locker. As soon as she opened the classroom door, there was Jermaine, sounding a bit winded, with a stack of papers in his hand. Right then and there, it was like a moment of fate. Anika and Jermaine locked eyes and firmly shook hands, and from then on, they were inseparable. Anika was from a family that was raised in the church and had both her mom and dad. Her background was in no comparison compatible with Jermaine's. In fact, her parent didn't even like Jermaine and persisted that they stop seeing each other. Once Anika's parents had realized that Jermaine wasn't leaving, they just accepted it. Like Jermaine, Anika was the oldest of her siblings and the most responsible. When Anika gave birth to Peace, it was like she had already done this before. She had lots of patience and she was very nurturing. When Peace turned 3, Anika and Jermaine had given birth to their second son, Emil. Without it even being a year apart, they had another child, this time a daughter, giving her the name Ayana. They were all one big happy family, up until Ayana turned 4. It was Ayana's 4th birthday, and Jermaine and Anika were celebrating for her. Jermaine had to leave to go to Wegmans to pick up Ayana's birthday cake. On his way to get his daughter's birthday cake, he had noticed a light gray Infiniti that had turned twice with him. Now, normally, Jermaine would usually have his gun with him, But being that it was his daughter's birthday, he was much more relaxed and in his feminine nature. Thinking as fast as he could, Jermaine had made a left, turning on East Main from North Goodman. The Infinity turned with him, and just when he knew for sure that he was being followed, 3 shots rung out, shattering Jermaine's back glass. Jermaine tried to pick up speed, but the Infinity picked up speed with him, letting off 2 more shots as Jermaine ducked while trying not to lose the wheel. Feeling like his life was quickly slipping out of his hands, Jermaine's last attempt was to smash the brakes. As he smashed the brakes, the Infinity crashed right into him, causing an immediate head-to-airbag impact. Gracefully for Jermaine, he had slid his car seat back before the brake, lessening the impact and allowing him time to embrace it. At about a half a minute of seeing stars, he hopped out and approached the driver of the gray Infinity, whose eye was bleeding pretty badly, plus he was still half conscious from the daze. And then without even an effort, Jermaine had quickly recognized the person in the vehicle. It was the guy he had beat up and strong-armed over a dice game school years back. The guy had tried to cheat several times and even refused to pay when he lost, leading to an altercation with him and Jermaine. While collecting his data and still in shock and impulsive, Jermaine immediately started beating the guy up, as if he was still trying to get out of survival mode. He beat the guy up so bad he can barely be identified. After beating the guy unconscious, Jermaine had passed out as well. When he woke up, he was in handcuffs and in the hospital. The next morning when Jermaine went to court, he was informed that the guy had died and that he was being charged with manslaughter.